Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space, so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today and become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's Podgo at podgo.co, and be sure to add my podcast in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application. Welcome to the Heavy Sweater Podcast. My name is John King. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If this is your first time listening, this is the Heavy Sweater Podcast, a deep dive into the beginnings of Australian musicians and bands of the heavy variety. And this week's guest is Matt Scott of Old Town and Sunsets, and Andrew Cooke, again from Wildheart, Sunsets, Rare Words. Andrew was also last week's guest, so if you haven't heard that episode, go check that out. He's a fucking weapon, and Matt is an absolute legend, such a nice guy. Definitely keen to do another episode with both of these guys, as I'm looking to expand the topics and do some themed episodes really soon. I think that'd be fucking sick. But we get into Matt's beginnings in music and the scene and how he and Andrew met, and the formation of Sunsets, and also fucking check this shit out. Sunsets have a reunion show at Greaser on the 30th of October as they celebrate 10 years of the We're In This Together EP, and that shit fucking slaps, boy. There's also a little break in the podcast when my laptop overheated, and that's very funny, so we're going to put a little fucking ad roll in there because this week's episode is fucking sponsored. I'm keeping the fucking lights on because this shit is not free for me to do, so it'd be nice to get a little fucking revenue back. That'd be great. But yeah, so with all that being said, I am wearing my Brody Lee shirt as recording this. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. Hey man. Hey man again.
What's going on?
Not much.
Back.
Yeah. A couple of minutes in between. Yeah, sick. We'll get into your story because we just did Andrew's.
Cool.
And what's like the first sort of heavy-ish band you ever remember hearing?
Oh, dude.
Of any type?
Man, it would have to be like Korn.
Korn.
Straight up.
Double nu metal.
Dude.
I
remember clear as day, man, and like, so I went to primary school in this kind of like ghetto-y area in Logan.
Okay.
And this kid
so all of Logan.
Dude, this kid rock. I was in grade 4, and this kid rocks into school in grade 7, and he's literally got the Korn logo shaved into the back of his head.
And
I was just like, what is this?
Backwards R and everything?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, dude, backwards capital R, like legit.
Yes.
And this guy was like notorious in the school. It was like he was the dude.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what? And then I think he just like showed everyone a cassette or something, or I don't know, Follow the Leader. That was it. Yeah, it was on.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fucking
And then
sick.
from Korn, is that like, from there you're like, that's my shit, like I'm a metal kid?
Nah, dude, like, I would say quite the opposite. Like, from there, it took a long time for me to be like I was like, yeah, I can jam with this, I vibe it, but it was never like, this is my thing. Yeah.
Well, you went like punk and ska, didn't you? Like
straight
really
up, dude, the
fish
total opposite route, man.
Sick.
Yeah.
Big Fish?
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Streetlight Manifesto, They Might Be Giants. Like,
Pop Ivy?
yeah, dude, hell yeah, Sublime, all that shit.
So good.
Yeah, I was a sax player all through school.
Okay, fucking wild.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
like the third time that's been brought up.
Shit.
Yeah,
The sexiest
big
instrument.
brass section. That's right. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So, did you play saxophone before knowing about what heavy music was?
Yeah, dude, so I think it was like maybe violin grade 3, saxophone
What the
from grade
fuck?
4. Yeah, dude.
Violin, like, wigs me the fuck out. I was at Vire a couple of weeks ago, and I came out and Matt was playing his violin, and just like reading sheet music, I was like, what the
What are
fuck
you
is
doing?
going on?
Such an alien. What a genius.
It was like 9 o'clock at night, and he's just like shredding violin. I was like, what is happening?
That rips.
Yeah.
That rips.
Fuck yeah.
So like, yeah, when I did primary school, you had to play violin. That was like your test to play any other instrument. You had to do a year of it. Torture, man. But
like
if you
a-
survive
like a-
that, then you're
In my
good.
school,
Yeah.
it was like castanets.
Can you make some
go
sort
like
of
this,
percussive
Or
noise?
like the maraca with the anal beads on it. And you go like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Cool. So then that is where you start for music. It's like classical vibes.
Yeah, so then maybe I would say like early high school
Okay.
when like, you know, the internet age and downloading music, and everyone's like showing each other, oh, listen to this song.
Yeah.
That was when it was like started really finding that. Like, yeah.
And what was the band at that time for you to be like, I'm a heavy guy now?
Dude, to be honest, because I was just hearing singles, it was probably like a bunch, but like Atreyu, Thrice, Alexis on Fire,
The pinnacle.
early Avenged Sevenfold,
Yeah,
like,
fuck
dude.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I still listen to Alexis on Fire all the time.
Hell
As soon as we're in
yeah.
the car, I'm like, this could be anywhere in the world. Boiled frogs, fucking.
Yeah, man. That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's so sick. And then where does guitar come in for you? Do you play anything other than violin, saxophone, and guitar and also
Just
bass?
mainly guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then bass, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess guitar was always around. Like, my old man's a musician.
Okay,
He's
cool.
a bass player, but he was playing guitar as well. So,
Okay.
like, yeah, to be honest, I probably couldn't pinpoint a time when I was like, I picked up a guitar.
Yeah.
Guitar lessons all through high school, though, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wild. How
Yeah.
about guitar lessons?
Yeah, so I literally had guitar lessons with the guitar player in my dad's blues band. Like, he's a big blues head. So,
Fuck
yeah.
This is wild.
That was cool.
This is insane.
Yeah, but like, I just wanted to play music as much as I could. Like, it was an escape from like being bullied in high school. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can get out of playing sport. Like, I'm clearly not the most physical guy. Yeah, it was just a way to like kill time at lunch.
Fuck yeah, sick.
Yeah,
Cool,
not get
man.
beat up. As weird as that sounds, like being a music nerd, not get beat up, but
Yeah.
it seemed to work.
It's
Sort of
jam
a-
room, so-
sort of
Yeah.
a different thing. I feel like in America, that's like the thing. Like if you're a music geek, but in Australia, if you're into music, it's just like, oh, okay.
They just leave you
Yeah, you
be.
kind of get like the homophobic slurs, and that's about it.
Yeah, dude, straight up, you got it.
Yeah, wow. I've never had a guitar lesson in my life, but
Oh,
I watched
true.
my sister get them, and like her interest in guitar just like dwindled instantly.
Yeah,
so I was
right.
like, not for me. I don't
That's
need that.
fair. Yeah. I guess it was like a bit less formal with the dude. Like, he was a huge blues head as well, obviously.
yeah.
So he kind of he would like incidentally like sneak the theory in, I guess,
Okay,
without me
yeah.
realizing. So it was a lot of literally just jamming for an hour.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I'm going to play this chord progression. This is how it goes. These are like 3 scales you can do. Let's just noodle. That was kind of it, really.
Fuck
Yeah.
Because that's what you do when you pick up guitar anyway. You just like
Straight up.
fuck around, listen to music. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, how do I play that kind of?
Yeah.
How do I play Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson?
Straight up,
And you
yeah.
realize it's like 4 notes, and you're like, this is easy.
I got this. And I could already read music and shit. Like,
Oh,
you already
fuck.
had that like musicality. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was cool.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Do you use that now, like reading sheet music? or
Nah,
anything?
hell no, dude.
Yeah.
Nah, not at
Tabs
all.
to the future.
Straight up.
The present, past, and future.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Cool, man. And what was your first guitar when you did like get heavily into guitar?
The typical story of like the shitty amp, crappy
Combo.
Strat knockoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
With some whack like bastardized BC Rich headstock. That was it, man. It looked like a Batwing or something.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
It's not the bass guitar that we bought on eBay that you played for like 2
No, that
weeks.
was definitely first bass.
What was that?
I
yeah.
bought a bass on eBay with like just a little practice amp as
Yeah.
well, like with my parents' account because I didn't have one. And then so like I feel like the neck started bending, so my dad like re-drilled it to make sure it would stop bending because we
Yeah.
put such heavy gauge strings on it to
Fuck
play
yeah.
like beat downs.
Yeah. So Cooke's dad used to own this hardware store, and I remember taking it to him because the neck was just at such an angle, and
Bone
he literally
like a
just
motherfucker.
he just drills these giant screws into it. So then, like on the back plate of the neck, they
Jesus.
were huge, like
Fuck
they were
yeah.
still sticking out. It was sick.
But you played that for ages.
Forever.
Like,
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Two
How was
years.
it sound?
Terrible.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
But that's what made it great.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it was,
yeah.
it didn't matter.
Yeah. I remember when I was playing in like a garage out at like bumfuck nowhere with one of my friends. He had this old like casino bass.
Yeah.
And we were like, I didn't know anything about like gauges or anything then, so we were like, let's take that in like just a normal, maybe like 105 on the top.
Yeah.
And we put it in drop B. The sounds that would make were horrific.
bet.
Like just it was like
great.
cool. Like, cool for
Yeah,
breakdowns.
dude, like that's the best, man.
Yeah.
You don't want that like perfect starting story of
Yeah,
like
no.
I bought this $1,000 instrument.
Yeah,
Like,
and first band names are always the best too. Yeah.
yeah. Come on, shoot! You must have a good one.
I think my first one I spoke about on the first episode I recorded was Glow in the Dark. Was my first one.
I back that.
I was like 12.
That's
So
cool.
I was like, my band is called Glow in the Dark. We have a Bebo account.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's sick.
Yeah. What's yours?
Dude, the first band like that we actually, because we would just when I first started playing in bands, it was like just doing house parties with our mates, and that was our way to just get drunk and all hang out together. And it was ska bands, so like I jammed for a bit with a band called Danog, which is just gonad spelled backwards. Don't ask. Yeah, I think we literally played 2 gigs at this house party, and that was it. There was another band called Naught to Nothing, and our logo was like a Speedo, but all the numbers were 0. It was fucking dumb. Yeah, it was cool.
That's thought out though. Yeah, fuck yeah.
There was a definite theme there.
Yeah. Cool, man. And then, what's the band or guitar player that makes you be like, I want to play guitar like super serious and be in bands?
Or did I coach you and do it?
Yeah, well, definitely twisted my arm into like taking it a bit more seriously, because I always just wanted to play music and be lazy, and you know what I mean. Yeah, I guess coming from like that saxophone background, and I toured overseas in orchestras and stuff. I just wanted to have a bit less pressure on it.
I feel like that was just brushed over, like so chill.
Oh yeah,
like, that's insane.
It was cool. We did 2 trips. It's definitely Tom from Rage Against the Machine.
Okay.
Yeah, he would be like, because I think he had that attitude of just like, I was never interested in shredding or dudes like that. Like I didn't give a shit about that.
Fuck shredding.
He just did such different stuff and just had like a I don't give a fuck attitude.
Yeah.
Like I loved that.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
Fucking Tom Morello rips hard.
Hell yeah.
Have you listened to either of you listened to the track he put out with Bring Me the Horizon?
Yeah, dude.
I haven't listened to it yet, but I've heard it's really fucking good.
I back it, and I'm not like on the Bring Me wagon at all. Like they're cool and they're great at what they do, but
that last single was poo.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't even listened to it.
I didn't like it. Yeah. It was too like not them. Even though what they are is like their own thing.
Yeah.
It was just way too removed from like where they've been heading.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. To each their own.
It's cool, man.
Music's subjective.
Yeah, that's exactly right, yeah.
Cool. And then yous meet up eventually. What's the story behind that?
You can tell it, you'll probably tell
So
it.
we were obviously studying teaching together, so we studied music teaching, and we kind of met pretty quickly. I think we were just like, I was wearing a House of Hurricane shirt. What was that like? And you were like, man, that band's
you would have had
cool.
some band shirt on.
And so we kind of started talking that way, and then consequently slacking off, and then not doing our classwork and just jamming. And
I feel
hanging
like we met, and I might be like confusing the stories, but like I remember when I first started uni and Cooke was already there, because there's a couple of years between us. Yeah. We used to have to go to choir on a Monday morning at like 7:30, and I walk in and it's just like this sea of people who look like teachers or like they're really serious about being there. And then I just spot Cooke in the spare seat, and I was like, yeah, cool, like this is it. Yeah.
Choir.
On a Monday morning, mate, you had to do it.
Yeah, it was part of the music and practice class. So like you had here a lot of commitments. So you had to perform that like at the end of the semester. You had to, in the practical class, you had to play keyboard and recorder, or guitar and recorder.
Yeah, recorders in there.
Yeah. So it was
torture.
But yeah, we kind of met up that way, started hanging out, and then eventually, like, because I think you'd come to a couple of Never Lose Sight shows.
Yeah.
Like Beanley Tavern, like.
Yeah. Yeah, so Cooke was playing in another band, like a metalcore kind of band. Yeah. It's like, come check out my band, come to these shows, and prior to that, like, I hadn't done many local shows, I guess. Okay. Yeah. So that was...
So I was like, after Never Lose Sight, I was like, I want to start, a pop punk band. I really, like, I listened to Seagulls, and I was like, man, this is it. Like, let's do something. And I knew Matt played, but I was trying to convince him to do it. And I think it was like once I met Callan, who was the guitar player that I met through the Rave ad. Like I said, this is back in the day where you used to put ads in Rave, and he was like, yeah, I'll jam. And we started playing, and he was like, this is cool, like, let's do it. So Matt came along. And then Josh was from Rave as well. Yeah. And then Tim.
I think you just knew you were friends with him from local bands previously.
Because he was friends with Mitch from Milestones. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was between bands or something maybe?
Yeah, so Tim, actually I think Tim played in Panama Deception at one point with Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch was the guitarist in a band called Milestones, which we played a lot with. And he joined, and then that was the original lineup of Sunsets, and that's when we started playing shows.
Fuck yeah. So that's your introduction into like playing live
regularly.
Yeah, proper shows in venues.
Fuck.
People are paying to see you. It's
Yeah.
not just a friend of a friend's party
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're getting a 6-pack or something, you know? Like, yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's a wild start.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it seems typical to me, but yeah, I don't know. It was like, I've got to say, it was very like, not against my will, but I was just like, I didn't give a shit about it at the time. Like, I was like, we were friends, he wants me to do it, he won't let up. Like, yeah, right, my dad's got a bass rig, like, I don't have to buy any gear. I've got a bass you can use, the $50 rebate bass. Just do it. Like, fuck, all right, man.
I convinced you at South Bank one day. We were at the busway, and I was like, I think it was like Callan and I, and I was like, just come do it. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
that was when
whatever.
you finally will. Yeah, okay.
Yes. Will you stop
I was like,
asking?
yep. See you next week.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Cool. And then Sunsets does everything they do. And then you go into Old Town straight after that?
Nah, so kind of took a step back from doing like my own band stuff, I guess, and just did the fill-in thing and hopped around. I played in a hardcore band called Sun Heights for a little while. That was kind of on. Yeah, I fronted a show for that, which was really fucking weird. Maybe like their biggest show. So they got offered support for Backtrack.
Okay.
Their singer was in Bali. They were like, we can't do it. I'm like, you're crazy. Like, how can you say no to that show? I think it was honestly like their first international support. They're like, well, what are we going to do? I'm like, well, I'll front it. And I will never front the band again. That shit is terrifying.
Why?
It's just so scary. I don't like. You've just got nothing to hide behind. You're vulnerable, man. Yeah. So I think I yelled something for the whole show with like my back to the crowd. Like I was just so shit scared, man.
That's hardcore as fuck.
Maybe in hindsight,
It's like, you don't get to live.
No. And then I played in a band called First Sight for a little bit.
Okay.
Just playing
with Josh Wesley.
with Josh Wesley and Sean Pryor that now plays in Deadlights.
Nick
Osborne was on drums. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So that was just like a kind of. They were cool having someone just come in and literally just play. I was like, I don't really want to do much else.
Yeah.
Like, I had aims to go overseas and teach English and do that thing. So, yeah. And then Old Town came about.
Yeah. And is that like, did you start that band or?
No, not really. So to be honest, it was a bunch of dudes I'd known previously who'd played in other bands. Kind of before, like maybe towards the tail end of Sunsets, I'd met them. They were starting up bands. They'd all kind of burnt out. And they wanted to jam and do some pop punk, and by that time I was like, oh cool, Sunsets has had like some breathing room, like I can come back to that now because I was so over pop punk for a while. We had one jam, we were like, nah, we're not going to play pop punk, like we're playing dirty riffs, man. Like, it was weird. They all had a very clear idea of what they wanted to do, and it just didn't happen, and that was great.
I think that's more organic.
Straight
than
up.
going and being like, this band is this, and that's just what it is. Because it can get contrived and like become almost like a bit of a cliche of that stereotypical sound.
And everyone kind of just came together with nothing. Like it was just like, well, like I loved playing pop punk and I can write it, so let's just start fresh.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Cool. I think Bryce was playing drums there for a while.
Yeah, so Bryce was our original drummer, and we knew him from years before.
Yeah, I bought my drum kit off him.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was Bryce from Among the Banished. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I hit him up a couple of times about like being in bands, but then like other people would sort of fuck me around, and then I'd have to be like, I can't respond to you because you're like a proper adult, and I'm like a little man child.
He's old, dude. He's definitely old.
So he's like, you're a bit intimidating, so I might just disappear.
He's a teddy bear, man. He looks.
He
scary.
seems real nice.
Yeah.
He did a band with a friend of mine, Josh Armstrong, and John Brown, who used to play in Through It All.
Yeah, I know the names.
Yeah. So he did something with them for a while, and then John joined Through It All. Not Through It All. Fuck. It was like a pop punk band in Brisbane.
Oh, true.
I can't remember their
Elsewhere
name.
band?
No. It was something All.
Give It All?
Maybe, yeah. It might have been them. Yeah, Give It All. Through It All's a hardcore band from Central Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was definitely a Brisbane like straight up hardcore / punk band called Give It All.
Yeah, it was that band. So he ended up joining that band, and Bryce sort of like stopped doing anything after that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So weirdly, like Bryce was Old Town's first and third drummer. We've had 5 drummers. Yeah.
Cool.
So he's in the film clip we did. Like,
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Sick. And then from there, you just go up until, because there was a little break, wasn't there, for Old Town? There was like a bit of time where like
Oh, dude, we haven't done anything in a while, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much the whole COVID time.
Yeah. And then you just played that Venom Pro show.
Yeah, the wrestling show, dude.
That was so good.
So sick.
Zash and I spoke about that. He's like, I want Old Town. I'm like,
Hell
man.
yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, that's
It's
sick.
like, I think we were out drunk doing like karaoke at Blues one night, and he was talking about putting on a wrestling show. And again,
Yeah.
we'd known him for a bunch of time and crossed paths a lot. And he's like, I want to do this like wrestling show, but like get music in between.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I'm all for that. And we were hammered. And then like, I was like, oh, nothing will come of that. Like, what? Like, it'll all be forgotten about. And then I think a week later, he's like, no, it's happening. And you're on. Like, I'm sick. This is cool.
The
And-
reception was crazy for that show.
Hell
like,
yeah,
people were
dude.
just hitting me up. Like, after I put the episode out, they were like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, like, this show looks so fucking good.
Dude, it was insane. Like,
at the back room.
yeah,
Great venue.
there you go. Like the conversation comes full back.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
it was dope, and that was, I think, that was Old Town's first show in maybe like a year.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely was, because we've done 2 shows this year
And then
before that.
Kingley's was after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So just between like member changes and COVID shit.
Yeah.
The typical like fickle band shit of stuff's not happening as quickly as we want. We're
People
fucking
get
over it.
disgruntled.
Yeah.
It's a waiting game. It's
Straight up.
a lot of waiting around.
Yeah.
And like heaps of things, it gets real stressful, and then it's just back to waiting.
That's it.
Yeah.
Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space, so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today and become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's Podgo at podgo.co, and be sure to add my podcast in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application. What are you doing? Alright.
This is. Now I'm fucking awkward.
You got it.
So Old Town are doing new things coming up.
Yeah. So.
And do you want to talk about that?
Oh, it's literally just a new single being mixed at the moment.
Yeah.
Plenty of new songs in the works. But when that's going to come out, well, whenever it's ready.
Yeah.
It'll happen when it's ready. No pressure. Hey.
And we were just talking before the fuck out on this, like COVID just destroying the fucking music scene.
Yeah.
Where you're at with that.
Yeah, so I guess like everyone cycled through being angry at the world, fucking hating everything. But then I guess for me, it's just given me a good perspective of like, the only pressure is the pressure you're putting on yourself.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's kind of been refreshing, but it's taken a year and a half to get to that point. So yeah.
And where are you at on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's been hard, like being in, like Wildheart and like having, very active plans. Like we had our first like international tour slotted for 2020. A friend of mine runs tours in Japan, and I'd spoken to him for years. Like I think I met him through Sunsets. Actually, he wanted to bring Sunsets over back in the day, and I met up with him when I went to Japan in 2015. And we sat down and had dinner, and he was like, yeah, let me know if anything ever comes up. And then we spoke in 2018 and 2019, and he was like, yeah, I think now's the time. Like he started doing more metal stuff, and he still does pop punk as well.
Okay, cool.
And he was like, come over, and I was like, we would love to. And like we started building momentum, and that's when Rising Tide was slated to come out. And but that was Rising Tide had come out. And then we were to announce, Japan tour, Australia tour, end of this year, and then obviously everything kind of went downhill from there. And it's been hard to kind of like, because you want to restart. Like we thought 2021 will be the fresh start for live music, and then it's been the harsh reality that that's not the case. Same thing with Sunsets that like Matt and I have been doing. Like we've been getting back into songs that we wrote back when Sunsets was a fully active band.
10 years ago, man.
And recording those songs and rehearsing again and playing shows. Like we played, it was a Christmas show 2 years ago with Heroes for Hire for a reunion with them.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And we played Between You and Me's album launch, and that was sold out in Brisbane. And so the plan was to keep doing that and keep that momentum up. Like we've got the new song coming out, and then we've got the 10 years of the EP celebration show at the end of October. But it's been very hard. Like we need to cross our fingers and hope the shows happen, and then trying to get the songs out. But we couldn't be in the same room together because we went back into lockdown. I was very lucky that my school wasn't hit, but the school that was hit was very close to me, and so they were all in 14 days isolation. So I was obviously back at home teaching at home online again.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, it will come. There'll be new Sunsets music too, and obviously the Wildheart album is coming out November 5th.
Yep.
But yeah, you know, we just fingers crossed that next year is better than this one
fucking
for live music. Yeah,
It's got to ride the wave, hey, like until times are a bit more certain, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's like when there is like a run of 6 shows and then they start getting cancelled after that, it's like real demoralizing. It's
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I had it happen and then you guys had it happen like straight after. It's like pretty fucking hectic.
Yeah, well, just because we don't know, like once the restrictions kicked back in Brisbane, like and hunters were, you know, returned to 70% seated. I mean, masks indoor, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, I went to the She Cries Wolf show the other week. They kept their masks on.
Yeah.
You know, there was moshing, but it was still, I think it was still pretty safe. Like, I mean, with the worries of the more recent outbreak, I don't think it'd be safe to do that. So the show was cancelled, and the Rare Words one.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're just hoping that we hit those vaccination targets and then we can actually start opening back up and having shows safely, because we don't want to do it if it's not safe.
No, it'd probably like scar the music industry a lot more if like there was an outbreak that happened because of a local show.
Oh, dude, can you imagine?
It'd be
Imagine being the
fun.
bands on that bill and the venue that hosted it. Like,
Contact tracing.
Yeah,
be
the
done.
right side,
Yeah.
So, you know, once it's safe to do so, but this is the thing is, like, you know, we're very fortunate that we have good jobs as well. If our sole income was relying on being a touring musician, and I have friends in that situation, and I really feel for them, because it's 2 years now that they haven't been able to earn a living, and they've had to go back and study or go back into their jobs.
Yeah, I think that's been our saving grace, is having such a safe, secure
it's
job.
It's not going to stop at any point.
Well, if anything, like restrictions and lockdown and whatnot, like only increased my workload as a teacher.
The whole time we were there, so we didn't shut until this year, really.
I think I was listening to a podcast with Andy from Every Time I Die talking about how like
The man.
the fucking best. How like being in Every Time I Die was like his main source of income until like COVID, but like everyone else in that band is like set up, and he was just like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So it's like wild that's like a harsh reality for musicians on like big levels as well as local levels. Like it fucks your game up entirely.
Some bands won't come out of it, and that's really unfortunate. Like, we're going to lose musicians and talented musicians and bands because of the reality of if we need to be able to play January next year. And if it doesn't happen, it's going to be a real concern. But also, you know, we just kind of, like you said, we have to ride the wave and see
you
where
have
we
to.
come out of it.
If it's what you want to do, I guess for people at a local level, if it's what you want to do, you can ride it out because you're staking the game. You don't really have a great deal to lose. Like you said, it's not your livelihood.
Fuck yeah. And then Sunset's back at it again.
So the 10 years of the EP We're in This Together show, so that's October 30th at Greaser. And that's, you know, with original recording members of that lineup. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We've been trying to do that all year, but obviously with restrictions, and the first time it was cancelled and pushed back. And then we had our friends Malibu Stacey playing, but Dylan lives in Melbourne. So with the outbreak, he's not able to come up anymore, unfortunately. But Jordan's other band, Nova Slide, is playing, which was really good.
And
Skies,
Anthony.
Skies Collide. You know, set the recorder back too, which is going to be a really fun show. And the new single, obviously, like we said, with COVID, we just had delays, but that will be out shortly. And then we've got to get back in the studio and finish vocals for the second single.
Sick. Cool, man.
Yeah.
We'll get into your top 5 favorite bands.
Oh, dude, I was dreading this question, man. It's so hard.
Everybody.
You brought up Andy, so I got to say E-Tid, man. Straight up, in no order. Every Time I Die.
Any album in particular? Because they're all very different.
Man, you're killing me. It's like a dead heat between X Lives or Big Dirty.
Okay.
I can't pick.
You don't like God of the North?
I love them all. They're all fantastic. But
What do you think about Radical so far?
I love it. I love it. To me, the newer song, like Planet Shit.
Planet Shit is sick.
That just it sounds like X Lives to me, and like I feel like that's the album that cops the most hate. Like everyone's like, nah, whether it's the mix or whatever. But like, I think it's fucking great. It crushes.
Postmortem's a fucking hit.
Yeah, dude. They're kings. They can do no wrong. Man.
fucking so good.
Yeah, I'm
That
pumped.
the bit in the video where Andy's hitting his tambourine, I fucking lost it. I was like, that's perfection with his like skullet just like
Yeah, dude.
flailing.
And he just mammoths that thing
Yeah.
because he's such a big guy.
Such a monster.
Yeah.
Fuck
They'd
yeah.
be up there.
He is legend.
He is legend, definitely.
Sick.
I guess they're kind of in the same vein. On the pop punk train, like probably Newfound Glory.
Okay,
Ooh,
sick.
Would be right up there.
Fuck yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. God damn. That's a hard one. What did I say? Every time
Morning
I die,
Time.
he is legend. No.
I mean, they're great.
It's real hard, man. I guess there's not many of those like southern rock style bands, so I can kind of just lump them all together.
Yeah.
Cancer Bats, shit like that.
Cancer Bats
Maylene.
are so sick.
Dude, they fucking
Yeah,
rule.
I remember like listening to them when I was a kid, like not a kid, like 13, 14. I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, they're sick. But then I got on like a massive Matty Matheson kick a couple of years ago.
Yeah, dude.
And they did the song for his TV show Dead Set on Lock.
I'm stoked you know Cancer Bats. Like,
Yeah, Cancer Bats
not
are
many
sick.
people do.
Yeah.
Very underrated.
Full on backing Cancer Bats now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Scope, their guitar player, well, he just left.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
mixing the Old Town song.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
sick.
we were messaging today about it. So, yeah.
Cool, that's
he
recorded,
fucking rules.
so I hope you're okay with that.
Oh, sick! Yeah, I'm like, dude, I do not care about being full sweat on that band.
Sick,
Like,
fuck yeah.
I sent him I drew our shirt and sent him it and the CDs, and like he wore it on their tour all through
That's
Europe
so
and shit.
sick.
Like I was
Fuck
losing my
yeah.
mind.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
So
he's the man.
Southern Boys and
Yeah, anything
Newfound
Southern,
Glory.
I guess. Newfound Glory. I'm a massive Kenny Loggins fan.
Okay.
Like hard out.
Sick.
Yeah, definite fiend for him. And probably Nirvana.
Nirvana?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I feel like not underrated. They're very, very like appropriately rated, but I think they're forgotten as like how impactful
Yeah.
they were to like bringing heavy music to where it is now.
Yeah.
Because it was like glam before that, and then Nirvana, and I feel like that led to emo.
Yeah.
And post-hardcore.
I think you're right, and I think amongst like, you know, the tragedy of his death and all the conspiracy and around that, and then like the MTV cop-outs, you know, that like
Yeah.
that whole saga that's
Yeah.
been like totally, I guess, glamorized. You lose their musical quality,
Yeah.
and their songwriting and their performance quality.
Yeah. 'Cause that, like they fucking changed the game on their first
Oh
album.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was just like chaotic as fuck, and then they made chaos marketable to
That's
the
right.
masses.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Like that ain't selling out, man.
No.
That's genius.
Yeah. I was watching fuck punk rock NBA with that Finn guy. He's like talks about like punk bands in mainstream.
Oh right.
Yeah, and he was talking about like the impact of Nirvana, and I was like, that's crazy. Like how they weren't selling out, but like other bands like Soundgarden were like more grunge than Nirvana were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
I just think like you think about the big grunge bands, and it's like Pearl Jam,
Yeah.
Nirvana, Soundgarden.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, man, you got to pick Nirvana. You have to.
Have you heard of Temple of the Dog?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were playing Guitar Hero Live a couple of years ago, and it had like the live feed in it where you could just play like whatever, had like Rob Zombie and shit in there. And
Yeah.
Temple of the Dog came on, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like it is so butt rock.
Yep.
It is ridiculous.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. Your dad's favorite band.
Yeah. Not mine. Hey, Dad's favorite band. My dad's
Yeah.
70. So
Oh, that's it. Yeah, fair. Fair.
So he doesn't fuck with heavies, but yeah.
That's cool.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
So that's your top 5, and then
Yeah.
we'll get your socials for everything you're doing and yourself.
Also, like personal ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so like on acid at prom, all one word, no underscores.
Sweet.
On Instagram. Yeah, it was literally so like
What's
I,
the- yeah,
I
you-
don't
yeah.
even know what it is, and people say it to me. They're like, "What is it?" So, obviously a massive E-Tid fan.
Yeah.
Love Keith Buckley and all of his writings and ramblings and whatnot. It was his Twitter bio for
Okay.
years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm taking that. I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know what it means. I'm like, "Yep, it's mine." Like,
yeah.
and I was like, I can't believe this is still available. But like,
So,
of course it
every
fucking
time I die
is.
sweater hasn't been like, I'm taking it.
That's
first.
right, that's right.
You're
So,
the
like,
every time I die sweater.
That's
took it.
mine. I'm claiming it. Yeah,
Sick.
yeah.
Cool, man.
Other than that, it's Old Town Riff Club
Yep.
on Instagram, Old Town Band on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because apparently Old Town's a place. So
Is it?
yeah, we couldn't name our Facebook page that until
Hectic.
yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Cool. And new music.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
Coming whenever.
Whenever.
We'll get there.
Keep an eye out.
It's funny that you mentioned Rob Zombie because we actually have a cover of Dracula recorded as well. So, yeah,
yes.
it's coming. It's coming.
With a breakdown?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, boy.
Yes.
It'll be tight.
Sick.
It'll be tight.
Cool.
Done for another week. Huge thanks to Andrew and Matt, both super lovely guys. Go check out Matt on Instagram, @onacid@prom. He says it in the episode. Big every time I die sweater. Same. Fuck, they rip. And check out his band Old Town @Old Town Riff Club on Instagram, and Andrew on Instagram @Andrew Arrivals. That's ARRVLZ for Arrivals. And check out his fucking band with Wildheart We Are Wildheart. Rare Words @Rare Words Band, and check out the band they're in together. Sunsets @Sunsets AU. Sunsets are doing a reunion show celebrating the 10-year anniversary of We're In This Together as a part of the Halloween weekend festival at Greaser Bar in Brisbane. They'll be playing with their original lineup, so go check them out. It's a free show, to my knowledge, so fucking go check that out. That'd be sick. I will be there. So, yeah. Not that that's an enticement for someone to go to a show, but I'm just stating a fact that I will be there to support them on that, because that's fucking sick. And if you like what I'm doing over here with the podcast, share it, tell a friend, and subscribe and follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you listen, Amazon and Podbean also. And check it out on Instagram and Facebook @Heavy Sweater Podcast. And some more of my personal plugs, not hair plugs, because I'm a bald fucking bitch. My band Shokan, we are playing some more shows with our homies in Isolation on their This World Grows Cold Queensland tour. The dates are as follows: November 5th, the Irish Club in Toowoomba, alongside Dissect, Deep Leech, and Isolation. November 6th at the Black Box Theatre in Nambour, that is a licensed all-ages show, alongside Dissect, Dead Nerve, and Isolation. November 12th at the Otherwise Bar in Townsville. We are not on that show, but if you're in fucking Townsville, man, go check them out. Go fucking support the boys. ISO are crushing right now, so go check them out. They'll be playing alongside Obstrucrum, Native Tongue, and Xenochrist. And finally, November 26th at Golby's Basement alongside Dissect, Deep Leech, and Isolation in Ipswich. We will be at that last show also. That's going to have Shokan on it too. So yeah, come back next week for a new episode. Thanks. Also, I haven't recorded next week's episode, so here's fucking hoping. Cross your fingers that there is one next week. Hopefully. Bye.